I'm Samantha Brown, professional organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created Pro Organizers Coach podcast to empower you to reach new heights in your business. I am on a mission to build a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started, this podcast is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Today is kind of a follow-up of a previous episode I did in a way, but it's also a new one. So I originally had another photo manager on the podcast, and now I have my second photo manager. And it's because I want you all as organizers, for one, to be able to hear another person's perspective. For two, the other photo manager I had, was kind of retiring. So she's not really fully doing this. And so I thought, hey, why not? Let's have another one on. And so we can get a different perspective, because we know as organizers, each one of us do it a little different. We look at it differently. We have different information. So thank you, Kathy, for being on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome. I so appreciate you asking me to come on the show.
So tell everybody about you, your business, and then we'll get into some stuff.
My name's Kathy Solka. I live near Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've been in this memory keeping space. I started as a creative memories consultant. I was teaching photojournaling, scrapbooking, and then it came to a period of time where I kind of transitioned into teaching other people how to do it, but also then people were started hiring me. So I found this organization called what is now the Photo Managers, and I'm a member of this global organization. It does a lot of training and teaching on how that we can help most benefit our clients and customers.
I love it. And the reason I think this is so important for us as organizers, obviously, is because to me, we should all have a photo manager if we don't like helping our clients with photos, or, because for me, that's a whole different ball game, because the way the other photo manager kind of explained it, and you can tell me if this is right or not, it's the digital stuff, it's the printed stuff, it's all of those things, right? And so I'm sure there's a lot of things that you all know about preserving, or how to organize them, or how to, and kind of teach/coach your clients through that process, more so than if I come in, I would just essentially organize the photo albums, or I could go digitally with my clients, but typically I'm there more to declutter and organize the physical space in their home. And I feel like you all offer that niched in really specific thing. And so tell me a little bit about it. So typically if someone were to reach out to you and be like, all right, Kathy, I want to hire you, what's your process of getting them through their stuff?
I feel like every single project, and you might feel this way too, is different. There's not one cookie cutter. Like we have a saying, when you've seen one photo organizing project, you've seen one photo organizing project.
Oh,
So
very true.
So it's very individual, it's very personalized. And so I just ask a lot of questions, and I've really spent the last year or so, or a couple years, really learning how to listen better, because I feel like we have so much information in our brains and we want to give it out and spew it all out, but then we can tend to overwhelm the overwhelmed. So I think listening is very key. And just because I know something, or something that they say spurs on another thought, doesn't mean it has to come out of my mouth.
Oh, okay. So you just had two mic drop moments for us as organizers. Learn to listen more. And just because the thought comes in our head does not mean it has to come out of our mouth. That is so good. I've got goosebumps, because it's so true, right? As organizers, which is, as a photo manager, you're essentially an organizer, right? To me, someone that's starting a photo organizing business, that's what it is. It's a photo organizing business. It's still an organizing business. And so that's the other part of why I love having these conversations, is because I feel like a lot of the stuff I offer in the sense of how to start your business is very similar, because you guys still have to do the LLC, or you still have to, there's a lot of, and then the life coaching stuff and talking to clients and how to talk to them. And so do you all do a consultation in person? Do you do it virtually? How does that normally play out?
I do a consultation over the phone, 20 minutes. And really, that is to see if they're a good fit for me, or if I'm a,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, whether we can work together. And then after that, I do a discovery session, which can be virtual or in person, where I have to put eyes on it. Like if someone calls you and says, I've got this closet that needs organizing, you're like, well, I haven't seen the closet. And they want to know how long is it going to take, how many hours. And you just, you don't know. It might be a box of photos in their closet, or
Right.
it could be
A whole
hundreds of
basement.
photos. Yes. Really, I have to put eyes on it and inventory and then come up with a personal plan for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Like, I was just talking to a lady yesterday and she had hired an organizer to come in and she was very unhappy with the service because she said, for one, she was already overwhelmed. When this organizer came in, the girl came in and almost did like an interior design kind of thing, more so than actual organizing. So she had her clean the room out, but then she had her buy new stuff for the room, but she put the old stuff in the garage and it's still just sitting there. And she's like, "Wait, where's the plan? Like I need a plan. Like I thought you would, and so she spent thousands of dollars to essentially create this room that she's like, I could have done that, no problem. She said, that's not what I needed. I needed someone to help me go through the items. And so, as I was talking to her, everything you just said is exactly what I say on my phone calls. Like the second they start asking those questions, I'm like, listen, every client's different. Every plan's going to be different. Until I can see the space, I'm not going to
Mhm.
know what the plan is, period. So, do you typically do like digital and physical stuff? Do you kind of specialize in one thing?
I can do both. We talk about digital, just making sure that you have a backup plan. You want to make sure that you're consolidating everything. So, say you were opening a drawer and you found all these hard drives or USB drives or
Happens
whatever.
all the time. And I just put them in a pile and I'm like, oh, now what? Which is why I need a photo manager to refer clients to. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so that's the consolidation piece about gathering everything, and the same with the physical items. You want to make sure they're all consolidated and in one space. So I've been helping my mom over the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years with her photo collection, and she keeps finding more things. I'm like, I thought we were done. Yeah, it really helps to have everything in one space. But I do offer digital and printed photo organizing.
Okay, so typically, I mean, it sounds so similar, right? And I keep saying that, but it's kind of not mind-boggling. I've just not thought about it. Like one of my members, we were talking about photo organizing, and she goes, "Oh, you mean the photo managers?" And it's this girl Jen in my community, and we call her literally the researcher. Like she researches everything. She knows everything about anything that has to do with organizing, all the things, right? And so the second I started talking about photo organizing, she's like, "Oh yeah, the photo managers." And I'm like, "Wait, what's that?" Like I had no clue before just these past few months. Like I knew photo organizing, I guess, was a thing. I just didn't realize it was such a big thing and that there was a whole organization specifically for teaching how to do it. So I think that's really cool. And I think that as organizers, it's also a specialty that if we wanted to add it on to our services, it's also something that we could add on to our services as an organizer as well. So, how long have you been doing this now?
I have had an official business since 2019. That's when I kind of launched with my website and went official. But I've been in the memory keeping space for about 30 years. So,
Okay, right, because you said you were doing like the scrapbooking and all that
mhm,
beforehand.
mhm.
And so with the actual business, this is just me being curious because so as an organizer, it typically takes at least 9 months to a year to like really get some kind of momentum going of like clients coming in the door because typically we help them and then they're on their way and I'm sure it's the same with you and unless like your mom then they have more stuff coming back. But so how long did it take you to get either consistent with clients coming in or for people to know about you or to like feel like okay, my business is actually working?
That is a very interesting question because I feel like I've kind of been on a roller coaster ride the past few years. And even last summer, I was like, where are my clients? And so about November, things started to turn around. And I feel like I've been more consistent, like networking, social
Mm.
media. I brought my daughter on to help me with social media, and we've been consistently posting once a week. And I feel like things are starting to pick up. But it really has been like, I can't say it has been consistent over those 6 years, but I feel like I'm at a place where I really want to grow. And yeah, and so I feel
Nice.
like being intentional and consistent is important.
Starting your organizing business is so exciting, but one of the hardest parts can be this: getting consistent clients. You know you're good at what you do, you know that you can help people, but marketing, that can feel confusing and overwhelming, which is exactly why I created Marketing Made Simple for Pro Organizers. Inside the course, I show you how to market your business using simple strategies that actually work for local service based businesses. You'll learn how to use Google to get found locally, how to use and understand SEO, how to keep social media simple instead of stressful, and how to build relationships through local networking and referrals. I also walk you through content ideas, visibility strategies, and marketing systems that help organizers like yourself attract consistent leads. So instead of wondering where your next client will come from, you'll have a clear marketing plan that brings the right clients to you. So go to proorganizersacademy.com and click Learn More to see a video of what's included in the course.
Yeah. So, as a photo manager, do you have a Google page that you like a Google business profile?
I do. And in this networking group I was in, we have a Google business page expert, and she does a 30-minute consult. And she radically changed my Google business page. So I post at least once a week, twice a week, and I've seen
Gotta
interactions with
feed
that go
Google.
up.
Yep.
Yes. So it was so great. Her help, she helped me so much. So yes, I do have a Google business page.
I may actually have to get her number from you and see if she'll come on the show because I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, Google is your best friend. And all of my ladies typically hate social media and they hate posting on Google. Like it's a nuisance, right? Which I
Mhm.
get. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things that if you build it up and you make sure to build it up, it's there forever. It's kind of like the podcast. Like it takes time, you've got to put in the work. But as you do, you will see a return on your investment of time. It just takes time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's amazing that like you have gotten it, and that might even be why you're getting more consistent is those two
Mm-hmm.
things: your daughter posting on social, and then you getting your Google more visible
Mm-hmm.
because everyone uses Chrome. That's what they search for if they have a problem, and they're like, oh, or Google whatever, but like, oh, I have a problem. Can someone near me help me? We're gonna go to Chrome or Google and type it in to find what's available to us. And so that's why, like, the search engine optimization, all of that is so important. And I know it's such a pain in the butt, but I just recently created my like most recent course and I called it Simplify Your Marketing because it really is that, right? Like when we can simplify our marketing and get it very honed in on like what our system is, and each person's going to be a little different, but what our system is, and then we can get consistent. Being consistent is the key to all of it. And so I think that's amazing. And I think earlier you had said about it being a roller coaster ride. Every single one of us have felt that way as an organizer because it's not like we went to school and we got a doctorate and then we got just a job that's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday,
Mm-hmm.
And our industry is still so new. Like there are still people that look at me and they're like, oh, that's a thing. Like it's not as well known as it will be in another however many years. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's the best time to start. I don't think if someone's like, I can't start my organizing business or my photo business because there's too many organizers, you could look in your area and feel like it's very saturated.
Mm-hmm.
But I would almost challenge that. How many of them are still in business? How many of them actually answer the phone when someone calls? Because I get that comment all the time. They're like, I called two other organizers. They didn't even answer me. Like, you called me right back. It's those little things in our business that get us the leads, and then it's making sure we take good care of our clients, which might be another reason your business is now growing as well, right? Like going above and beyond to do that.
If you've ever thought about becoming a professional organizer, but the business side feels overwhelming, you are not alone. So many women tell me, I love organizing. I know I could help people, but I have no idea how to turn this into a business. That's exactly why I created my course, How to Start Your Professional Organizing Business. Inside the course, I walk you step by step through how to actually launch your organizing business. You'll learn how to set up the foundations of the business, define your services, how to price your work, and create your process from bringing in and working with your clients. You'll also receive client paperwork, intake forms, agreements, and checklists so you're not trying to figure out the professional side of the business all on your own. I also walk you through how to structure your services, what tools you'll need, and how to begin building confidence as a professional organizer. So instead of staying stuck in research mode and that analysis paralysis, you can confidently take the next steps and actually start helping people transform their homes. If becoming a professional organizer has been on your heart, go to proorganizersacademy.com to learn more.
And so, speaking of like taking care of your clients, so you have like, the digital services, and then you also have the printed services. Is there anything I'm missing or that I'm not thinking about?
I would think like outdated media. If you come across VHS or film or those mini video cassettes that people had, that
Mm-hmm.
is something. Or even I like to say meaningful memorabilia. Like I'm sure you come across memorabilia when you're organizing. So
Yes.
what do we do with that? Some of that stuff can be scanned or pictures taken of it, and you don't necessarily need to keep all of it, but maybe it's part of your story. And that's really one thing I don't want to forget to say is this is much more than just organizing. This is about being a good steward of what you have, leaving a legacy, leaving a story behind for your family. So that's really my passion more than just putting things in the neat boxes and having them organized. It's about telling your story.
I love it. And I think the other photo manager, she was showing me like a book that you can create that's kind of similar to that of like the legacy.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think that's a huge kind of part of what you're saying, right? Like you can organize and that's great, but you've got to feel kind of called to help people with these things because it's the same way in my mind that as a life coach I'm going in, right? Like I'm called to this to help them like work through their overwhelm and declutter their stuff and talk it out if needed and coach them through it and like I'm very passionate about making sure that it's not just organizing, but like there's another element of being called to the
Mhm.
work and knowing that like, hey, I'm really changing people's lives here that maybe haven't had this opportunity. And I could imagine, especially for a lot of like elderly people nowadays, right? Like you said, it's outdated media. They can't really watch the VHS anymore. So they have all these memories. Like I can only imagine being older having all these memories that I can't access. Like we are so used to just looking at our phone and being able to go back however many years, but we forget
Mhm.
that more than just like what 10 years ago. I mean, at most, like I think my photos go back to like what 20 I don't know, 2012, 2013, somewhere in there it started really picking up with our digital footprint, right? But before that, like if you're older, you've been around a long time before that. And so all of your like great memories. So I think that's huge that you're saying that the legacy of sharing their story and being able to leave that legacy. So do most people, is that typically why most people reach out? Or are they more overwhelmed because they have too much stuff or a little mix of both or
It's a little mix of both. I think a sudden loss, a milestone event like graduations or weddings is a catalyst. Like I think for most people, this is a someday I'll get to it project. And
yes.
that someday never comes until something like someone just reached out because his wife had passed away and he's got a closet full of memories and they're not organized and he wants to be able to pass them down to his kids and do something with them. So I think
Yeah.
that's a big catalyst and a big piece of it.
Yeah. And then once they do, like want to organize, right? Like let's say for instance, because I know every client's different, but let's give
Mhm.
like let's use this gentleman as an example, right?
Mhm.
It's one closet of stuff. It's, you know, probably what, like 3 or 4 boxes maybe ish. And so as you're going through that, does it normally take like a few weeks, a few months? Like what's the typical turnaround
Oh
or is there?
my goodness. It just really depends because we're gonna create like a phased approach a lot of times. Like we'll start with the organizing, then we'll do the scanning, and then we need to create a system or a place where they can actually enjoy it and interact with it. Like one of my favorite questions to ask clients is, how do you want to best interact with your photos? It's not just about putting them on a hard drive. That's like almost putting them into a closet, and you can't really
Yeah.
enjoy them.
Or at a
So how
storage unit that you can't access in a way. Like
exactly? You see a lot of parallels between what we do, right?
yes, very much so. And I love that. And so, okay, keep going. Sorry, I totally got sidetracked.
So what was I talking about? Kind of a
You are
phased
scan.
approach, and
Like what are the phases? Let's go there so we
let's
understand the
let's
phases.
say consolidate or gather, consolidate for digital, gathering for physical photos, and then the next step would be, if with digital, it'd be like deduplicating, and then curating. With physical, it's kind of the same. So you're figuring out the best photos to scan. You're not going to want to scan everything, most likely, but finding out the best photos to scan, and then creating a system for where they want to live or where the photos are going to live so you can best interact with them. So that's very individual too, because people
Mhm.
have iPhones and people have Androids and people have are partial to Google or partial to Apple. So there's it's just very individual.
Well, and now there's even because just for Christmas, I got my mother-in-law one of those photo things that sits on the desk and goes through. And then, like, my sister-in-law can, because she lives out of state, like, we all live very distant. And so we can now upload to her photo thing that's scanning, you know. And so I'd gotten her that for Christmas and she loves it, right? Because now she can get new pictures of her grandkids and it'll all of a sudden pop up in her feed that's flipping through. So, you know, there's so many options out there now. And it's same with organizing, right? Like we got to find the bins or we got to figure out like there's all these little details that like just as you do it, you get to know more of kind of what your options are. So, do people typically want to get like one of those photo things or do they typically want it on their phone or what's the
I mean, it can vary. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, it's really fun because you can import pictures. If they're scanned, you can import them into Apple. Those digital frames are amazing. I have one sitting on my dining room table, and I've got playlists, and I can set up like a birthday playlist. And when it's my daughter's birthday in May, I can just play that playlist the whole month, or anniversary playlist for me and my husband. So those are really cool ways to interact. Or a photo book, like something you can hold in your hand and
Mhm.
instead of just looking at on that little screen on your phone. So there's lots of different ways to be able to interact with photos.
That's really cool. The playlist idea. Like I've never heard that either, right? Cuz I always tell my family, "Listen, I get a birthday month, right?" And they're like, "You don't get the whole month, mom." I'm like, "Fine, I get a birthday week." So from like Valentine's Day through my birthday, I get like 6 days where it's like my week of the year, right? Where I'm like, I'm not doing dishes, like you all figure it out. I quit. I'm on hiatus. But I think that having like that playlist, right? Like that's a really cool idea, or like Christmas or Thanksgiving, like any of the holidays. Like there's so many ways you could organize that to where you can interact with it. And I guess I've never really thought about it, about interacting with photos. And honestly, I would think that I actually would have thought of it more because my grandmother, like she took photos for a living. That's what she did my whole life growing up. And she did weddings. And back then, just for her to show the photos to the people that she shot their wedding, she would print every single photo out. She would put it in an actual photo album and then she would number it. And then they would come to the house. They would look through the actual photo. I remember all of this. They would look through the photo album. They'd be like, I want 3 prints of number 10 or 2 prints of number 25, whatever. And she'd be taking notes. And then she'd have to send off for all the stuff and wait a couple weeks to get it all back. But because everything was so like in your hand, because that was during the age of like VCRs and that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
her whole basement like when she passed, oh my gosh, like we had so many photos
Mm,
of
mm,
people that we were like, who are these people? Like,
mm,
but we had to look through them because it could have been our family photos that were in the
mm,
mix, right? Because you had one roll of photos back then. So if like she didn't take the whole roll, well then she might finish it off with a few of us or she like it was
mm.
so intermixed. It
Yes.
was so bad.
Mhm,
But kind of like what you're saying, and she just passed what a few years ago. Um, and she was still relatively younger when she passed. I think she had just hit like 70. So there's still those people out there probably with entire basements full. I mean, I'm
mhm,
sure hers was worse because she was a photographer, but to the point of like you said, and I know it because when I go in and work with my clients, I don't know how many of them, if it's VHS, if it's a disc, if it's a
mhm,
cords are the other thing no one wants to
mhm,
get rid of, that they're like just put it in a pile because I might need it someday. And it's hard to
mhm,
tell them that they won't. But photos are the same thing, whether it's VHS, like any of the things we're talking about, they're so afraid that there's a memory or something on there,
mhm,
but no one ever knows what to do about it. And until I started figuring out that photo managers were a thing, I didn't know what to do about it either. Like
mhm,
typically I was just like, okay, well, like the guy you just talked to, well, let's box it up and put it in a closet because at least
mhm,
it's all together, right?
mhm. Yes.
Um, and so I think that there's a huge need for what you all are doing, and I think that it's probably a lot like what we do, right? Like people are just now really starting to find out about it and that it's a thing. How long have the photo managers been around?
We just celebrated 2009, was
Okay.
when they started. And I feel like you too, like when you tell somebody what you do, sometimes they just look at you like the deer in the headlights. So like, I have
Yes.
no idea what you're talking about.
Yes.
So
Well,
yeah,
I've found as an organizer, if I tell people that I help people declutter their homes, when I say that, they're like, "Oh my gosh," like the light bulb goes off, you can see it happening. If I say I'm a professional organizer, they're very like you can tell they kind like more people are starting to kind of understand what that means because of Instagram and
mhm,
different stuff and the shows that have come out over the past few years on like Netflix and different stuff like that.
mhm,
But they still don't fully think it's for them or that it's accessible to them or they think it's going to cost, like $1 million. Like it's a very
mhm,
like out there concept, right? It's not like
mhm,
saying, "Oh, I'm a cleaner." Everyone knows what a cleaner does, about how much it costs, like typically what happens, but not
mhm,
with organizing, and I'm sure not with
mhm,
photo managing. So I've found that phrase of like, I help people declutter their homes. Oh, I need you, or like, oh, my mom. I love what you said earlier about I help people leave a legacy. Like I think that's a very, especially like I said, if you're talking to older people, like they want to leave a legacy
mhm,
with their photos and with their memories. And right now they're
mhm,
at an age where they don't fully understand digital. They don't know half the time what to do except maybe check their email or we're still in that in between phase
mhm,
where I could see this like I mean obviously you guys have been doing it for a while but it really like blowing up over the next 5, 10, 15 years because
mhm.
a lot more of the people that are getting older are finally at a place where but they still have all that stuff and then after that people are just going to have crazy digital overwhelm and clutter, and they probably already do. So let's go there for a minute. Let's talk about the digital stuff that you do. Does someone just like start sending you files, or like what's the digital part of this?
Well, I just had the girl, she gave me 5 USB drives and said, would you please just put these on an external hard drive and organize them for me? She had 17,000 photos on 5 USB drives.
Right?
So I think that's another thing is none of our kids are going to want 50 or 100,000 photos just to sift through.
Mm,
So I have some tips and tricks that I like to use with my own digital photos and that I share with my clients. It's not a bad thing to have a lot of photos. It's just how accessible are they? And the search features on Google and Apple are so good now. You probably search for certain things. Like my daughter has industrial mixer and a what did you call it? A speed rack. And all I put in was mixer and the photo came up. So the search
oh
features are
yeah.
amazing to be able to find photos fast. But I think that's the key is it's not the amount of photos, it's how well we can, again, interact with them or find them.
Yeah, especially nowadays because it all fits right here on our phone, right? Like,
Mhm.
so you can have as many as you want. Where back in the day, obviously that was a little bit different. Like you had to have a whole
Mhm.
basement, obviously. But now it's all sitting there. But like you said, and with AI, obviously that's changing a little bit. But again, I just now realized in the past, God, this is gonna make me sound so old. In the past maybe 6 months or so, that search feature like was as good as what it is, or that it was even an option. So I have an Android and it's Google, and so on my Google Photos, I happened to somehow one day hit a button, and all of a sudden I realized you could search by location. So if
Mhm.
I'm in a client's home, I can go to the location, hit the home, and every photo I've ever done with them, of their before and
Mhm.
afters, their whatever, is right there in front of me instead of me scrolling through hundreds and thousands of photos to find their before and afters or whatever it is. And that's been a game changer for me because I used to waste so much time. So
Mhm.
it's more like exactly what you said. It's more about having a system and knowing what's available to you and then how to best use it. And especially for us in our businesses and with all the photos we take of befores and afters,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, it gets crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I just suggested on Instagram this week to create a best of album. Like, so you could do that, your best of organizing. And I also really like to spend positive time rather than negative. So I like to go and favorite my photos rather than delete, so that you can spend that,
Oh,
it's a positive energy rather than trying to decide which one to get rid of. You actually are,
yeah.
then you can go back later once you favorited them. But so that's another tip that I like to share.
I like it. Yeah, it's the stuff that is going to stand out because of whatever it is, but it's also the idea of earlier, like the playlist, like the Thanksgiving or Christmas, or it's just in photos and in our phones. So the second we can, condense them, because used to the tip I would give out is like take all of your photos, and this was just before maybe this past year. Take all your photos, your before and afters, put them in a folder, put the name of the client on the folder so you can access them easier in the future. But now AI has it's like changing the game of the way that we're doing stuff. But there's definitely still a huge need for what you do. And then last but not least, so let's go and talk about the virtual services that you offer, because I want to make sure that we talk about that as well.
Yeah, if someone would like to reach out to me and I can be a resource for you and other organizers or clients that want to work with me, I definitely can work virtually. I can work, like, set up a consult, set up a discovery session, and just give them an opportunity to share. Like, I think the biggest thing is trying to figure out, and it's probably for you too, is what do they actually want? What is it they're actually wanting to do?
Right.
So,
And what are they ready to do right now? Right. Like, because I tell my
yes,
girls
to
all the time, I'm like,
process.
listen, tell your clients that your consultation's 30 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes is what you say out of your mouth, knowing you're going to be there at least an hour, because if you say an hour, you're going to be there too, because they're
Mhm.
going to show you their entire home. They're going to tell you all their dreams and all the things that they want to do.
Mhm.
But then, and that's a great time to like take notes and like make mental notes of like, okay, we can come back to this in the future for sure. You have to see the whole space. And that's
Yeah.
why it takes time. But then
Mhm.
bringing it back into, okay, so what's our goal for now? Right? Like,
Mhm.
what's the most important thing or the thing that's really bothering you at the moment that you're ready to pull the trigger on? And
Yes.
then we can move to the other parts or whatever. So I'm sure
Mhm.
it's very similar.
Mhm. It is so similar.
Yeah, I know. I didn't
Yeah.
realize how similar it was. I mean, and I know that sounds kind of dumb. It's like, duh, of course it's the same, right? It's still
Mhm.
organizing. But I
Right.
guess I just never really put the puzzle
Mhm.
pieces together that it was so similar. So the photo managers, tell us a little bit about them too. And then, of course, you guys know I'll be putting all the links in the show notes and in the description. So the photo managers, did you find out about them in 2019? Is that what kind of got your business going, or?
Oh no, I found out about them in 2009.
Oh,
So
okay. Right as they
I've
started?
yes, I've been a part of them, and I'm actually going to Boston in 2 weeks for our conference, the Photo Managers Conference. And the neat thing is, there's a lot of organizers that have come out of residential organizing into photo managing, so that's why the connection is there. But yeah, the Photo Managers has a training, a conference every year, accountability. I meet with a couple photo managers every other week just for accountability and ideas and being able to connect with them. So great
Ooh, you've almost created your
organization.
own little community. Before we hit record, I was telling you a little bit of like how all like POC got started, right? And that's why I created the community, is because as an organizer and as a business owner, it felt so lonely all the time. And I'm like, I just need someone to like bounce some ideas off of that gets me, because I would try to talk to my husband about it and he'd like blank over, he'd give me some idea he thought was amazing. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't get it. Like, I like, so to have someone to talk to that like gets it is a game changer. And then, like you said, kind of the accountability and all of those things. I just am so excited that it's all growing. Like,
Mhm.
I think it's
Yes.
amazing that the industries are becoming more accessible to the everyday person, more so than just for like the rich and famous. It's just part of the world we live in. We live in an Amazon age where we get all this stuff coming in. We need a way for things to go out. It needs to just become part of our daily lives, honestly. And I think the same with photos. And before it gets to the point of you're so overwhelmed by it, reach out for some help. Okay, I love it. So yeah, tell everyone like what your website is, how they can find you if they're interested, and then I'll make sure to add it to the show notes as well.
My business is Photos to Stories, and I have it's photos2stories.com. I have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the things.
Thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation with me. I really appreciate it.
It's been a blast. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. And then for those of you listening and watching, we will see you in the next episode. Thanks.